About myself. Um, my name is Christian Tan. I live in Amsterdam. I work as a system administrator for a mobile content provider. I play the cello, the piano, vocals, and make electronic music. And I'm involved with nakedcellist.org. I play in the Crea Orchestra, the Streich Fine String Quartet, and I make electronic music on mkultra.net. This to emphasize my musical activities, and this is how I got involved with Dying Giraffe Recordings. You can email me at christian@dyinggirafferecordings.com. I'm giving the presentation, but the majority of the work is actually done by other people for Dying Giraffe Recordings. Wouter and Ingmar are two of the major ones who took the initiative and did most of the work and all the contacts, as well as another bunch of people like Marnix, Falco, Henno, Jessica, Remy, Ties, and many, many more. There's also some companies and people who were of big inspiration to us and to me. I want to mention Magnet Tunes, a label which has similar goals as we have. They've been doing this longer than we have. They've been a big inspiration for us. We also like their slogan, which is "We're not evil." And there's a very good article in Salon from Courtney Love about what is so wrong with the music business. So, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about what is wrong with the music business. Why is it so bad for both the artists and for the music lovers? What are we trying to do to solve that with Dying Giraffe Recordings? The problems that we encounter with our system and with our setup. Suggestions to solve those problems, and everything we do is still a work in progress. We're still trying to define how we want to do things, if our solution is working, if we are on the right way. We might be doing things in the wrong way, we might come back, we might change our minds, we might go into another direction. So it's very important that we have these discussions about if to find out if we are on the right way. So what's wrong with the music business? Basically, there are just two things wrong with the music business. Artists are screwed, and music lovers are screwed. Observe that I don't talk about, that I say music lovers. I don't say consumers. I don't say clients, because this is what it's all about. People who love music, people who love listening to music, and people who love making music. And the people involved with Dying Giraffe Recordings are people who really love to listen to music and make music. The music lovers are really screwed. Copy protection, DRM, we all know the problems with that. The whole debacle on the Sony rootkit, which installs a very big security hazard on your computer. Security protection, copy protection, so that you can't rip your CDs, and you can't play it on your iPod, you can't play it on many DVD players or car audio players because of the copy protection. The whole thing about DRM, basically DRM makes you not own your music. You just you hire the music, and if the one who has given you the license for the DRM music changes his mind, you suddenly don't have that music anymore. For example, there was a shop, I forgot the name, which has changed their DRM system, and suddenly everyone who has bought music at their shop finds that their music doesn't play anymore. Of course, there's also intercompatibility problems. You can't play your DRM music from the iTunes store on your Microsoft Zune. You can't play different brands of DRM can't be played on different brands of players. It's one example. For example, if you had bought tunes at the Microsoft Play for Sure shop, it will not play on the new Microsoft Zune MP3 player. And that's very representative of what is the problem with DRM. This is not just a problem for customers. I also talked to a guy from VCX who does adult entertainment online. They experimented with DRM for their downloads. But the problem is, because they use Microsoft Download and it was hacked every week, they had to upgrade their servers every week. And sometimes, when they upgraded their servers, something broke. So people couldn't not download and buy music from their store, and so they lost a lot of money. So they decided to do away with the DRM. They do use the watermarking though. Then there's the issue of price fixing. In Holland, where I'm from, you pay 20 euros for a CD. You can't get new CDs for much cheaper than that. There is a lot of price fixing going on. The labels have been sued for that in the United States, but all they got was a slap on the wrist and a very small fine. The choice is limited. All music from the big labels is tested for the hit potential. In fact, the big labels have developed software that can analyze a piece of music and checks for its hit potential. And if it doesn't have that hit potential, it is not signed. So the choice of music that you can get is severely limited by the big labels. Then the music lovers are treated as criminals. If you use peer-to-peer, or even if you don't use peer-to-peer, you have the big chance of getting sued by the RIAA or other organizations. They sue you because they say you are downloading music or you're uploading music to everyone else, even if you actually do not own a computer or do not know how peer-to-peer works. And then there's the loudness war. That's something which I come back later to. The musicians are screwed. And not just the musicians, by the way. I'm also talking about audio engineers, producers, graphical designers. Musicians, for the big labels, even the well-selling artists, often get very, very bad deals on their albums. They often get very little paid for the CD sales. Sometimes they do not even get anything paid for the CD sales, because the labels say, well, selling CDs is for you promotion, and you make your money by giving concerts. But even some of the proceedings of the concerts or sales of the merchandise, of that, they have to pay some amount to the record label. They also have to pay to the record label the costs of recording their album and promotion. For example, in an example mentioned by Courtney Love, someone like Toni Braxton has sold $135 million worth of CDs, but she had to file for bankruptcy, because the way the deal worked is that she got a very small amount of her CD sales, but she had to pay, I think, about, say, $500,000 or $1 million for recording her album, another $1 million for promotion, and maybe some other costs. Some of these artists who sold millions of albums went bankrupt because of these crappy deals. So again, I mentioned the loudness war, which I will explain later. The payments that an artist has several ways of making money. It is by concerts, by selling CDs, by airplay on the radio. There's also organizations who have a levy on the sales of empty CDs. If you buy CDRs or DVD-Rs, there's a certain levy has to be paid on that, and the organizations collect that and give that to the artist. But of those proceedings, only the big artists get the money, because they look at how many artists sell how many albums, and they say, oh, let's say 50% goes to Britney Spears, then 50% of that money goes to Britney Spears. Small artists get no money from that levy. Then there's the problem that laws are getting stricter and stricter of sampling. In my opinion, you can make creative music by using sampling, but there are some labels who are trying to crack down on sampling. There used to be something like fair use, like if you use less than 7 seconds of a piece of music, you could sample it without paying royalties or license it. But now in Australia there has been a lawsuit where the judge decided that if you use a sample you have to pay for it, even if it's a very small piece, even if it's not recognizable. And that really stifles creativity. While on the other hand, if a big artist samples someone else, they have so much lawyers behind them that as a small artist you're bound to lose lawsuits. And the musicians, if they go into a deal, they do not own their own name or their music. The label becomes owner of their music. In some cases, that means if I've recorded a certain amount of, if I've recorded an album, I press, say, 100,000 CDs, they're sold out, and my label says, well, that's not interesting anymore, we will not repress it. They still own the music, and nobody can buy that music anymore. This also used to be not the case. It used to be the case that you sold your music to your label, but in 35 years those rights would expire and you would be owner again of your own music. It's because of this that artists like Prince and David Bowie did all kinds of things to get out of their deals. Prince even changed his name for that. Then there's the loudness war. As you might know, that music consists of many parameters, and one of them is dynamics. It's about loudness and softness. It's about the way it goes from, say, pianissimo to fortissimo. It's the way music is articulated. The thing is, with modern music, the producers or the engineers now use compressor limiters to kill the dynamics. Why do they do this? To make it as loud as possible. As you can see in this graphic, on the left you see a normal piece of music with normal dynamics. On the right you see the result of it being extremely compressed and limited to kill all dynamics. Why do they do this? Because most of the music that is played on crappy radios, on clock radios, on kitchen radios. So you want to make it as loud as possible so that your music stands out between other songs. So that's why they kill the dynamics. But of course, it kills the music. So there are a lot of corrupt organizations involved with this. The record labels, of course, who really screw the artists and are lobbying for really unfair laws. There's the RIAA and Brein. Brein is the Dutch organization, and RIAA is the American one, who are the Gestapo. Oh, wait, did I say Gestapo? I mean the enforcers of the record labels, cracking down on people who use peer-to-peer and things like that. There's Buma Stemra in Holland, GEWA in Germany, who are collecting the money for airplay and for CD pressing. The way that works is that you become a member of Buma Stemra or GEWA, you pay several hundreds of euros, and then hopefully within a few years you get some money back because they got money from airplay or CD sales. It's even so that if you want to perform at a venue, even if you play your own music, you have to pay a certain amount of money first and then prove that you own your own music before you get your money back. Then there's copylevy organizations that I mentioned before. Organizations who collect the money which is paid as a levy for empty CDs and tapes and empty DVDs. Like I said, most of the money only goes to the big labels, to the big artists. But a lot of those organizations do not pay at all. The Belgian organization for the copy levies have lost their license to collect the money because they just collected the money and never paid out. In